Good evening. Welcome to the evening news. I am Omotayo Adebodo. President Muhammadu Buhari today urged citizens to give him 7 days to resolve the cash crunch that has become a problem across the country, from the Central Bank of Nigeria policy to change high-value naira notes with old ones. Speaking at the Progressive Governors Forum, who paid him a visit at the presidential villa to seek solutions to the cash crunch, which they said was threatening the good record of the administration in transforming the economy. President Buhari said the currency redesign would give a boost to economy and provide long-term benefits. He expressed doubt about the commitment of banks, in particular to the success of the policy, saying some banks are inefficient and only concerned about themselves. The president, through his spokesperson, Gabashew, gave assurance that the balance of 7 days of the 10 days extension would be used to crack down whatever stuck in the way of successful implementations. The governor told the president that while they agree that his decision on the currency redesign was good and that they were fully in support, its execution had been botched and their constituents were becoming increasingly upset. Members of the Progressive Governors Forum has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to prevail on the Central Bank of Nigeria to allow the old and new naira note to coexist. They believe that these would ease the current scarcity of naira note and its alienary effect. Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, who spoke to journalists, revealed this shortly after governors elected on the All Progressive Congress ticket met the president at the State House in Abuja. Governor El-Rufai argued that the move had become necessary as the CBN mopped up over 2 trillion naira of the old note but only printed 300 billion naira of the new notes. According to him, the new notes in circulation are insufficient for Nigeria, and the former FCT minister said CBN's cashless policy should have been preceded by the printing of at least half of the amount mopped up, 1 million naira. He lamented that many Nigerians were suffering even as traders of perishable goods are daily losing their wares from low patronage. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has ordered the arrest of subsequent prosecution of all individuals engaged in the sales of or abuse of naira note issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. He directed the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department and the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Intelligence Bureau to place officers and men of the department and the Bureau across the nations on high alert to carry out their directives. The police chief noted that this was in furtherance of the federal government's policy to drive to uphold the provision of the CBN Act 2007 and dignify Nigeria's currency. The first spokesperson, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who revealed this in a statement, said the IGP similarly charged all supervisory AIGs and commissioners of police in charge of police commands and formations to carry out full enforcement of the provision of Section 20 and 21 of the CBN Act 2007, which criminalized, among other things, the hawking, selling, and otherwise trading. Adejobi further noted that the IGP reiterated the mandate of the NPF to enforce all laws and regulations without any prejudice to the enabling act of other security agencies. Worried over biting fuel scarcity in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has announced the composition of a special monitoring team to look into the deepening distribution of price challenges. According to the release by the spokesperson of Governor Malam Olawale Rashid, the special monitoring team, headed by the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Honorable Kasim Akinleye, with members drawn from Police, DSS, Army, IPMAN, NLC, TDU, among others, is to immediately commence the monitoring of distribution of PMS from point of delivery by Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to various discharge outlets in the state. The governor further urged the monitoring team to liaise with the major marketers for collaborations with the independent marketers to ensure that product has circulated across the state. While expressing unhappiness about the hardship facing people of the state, Governor Adeleke assured that the state government will support federal government agencies and the private sectors to address issues behind the fuel scarcity in the state. The governor added that he cannot fold his arms while his people face hardship. The administration of Senator Ademola Adeleke has mobilized the contractors handling the Osbc-Kwara State Boundary Road back to site to resume work on the project immediately after many years of abandonment. This was disclosed by the Coordinating Director, Ministry of Works and Transport, Engineer Olushola Ajao, during a chat with newsmen in his office, as confirmed by the governor's spokesperson, Malam Olawale Rashid. The Osbc-Kwara State Boundary Road was awarded some years ago, but it was not completed, causing hardship to residents and especially motorists who ply the road on a daily basis. Engineer Ajao said the state governor magnanimously ordered the mobilization of the contractors back to site and commence the work so as to ease the suffering of motorists who ply the road on a daily basis. He said the governor has specifically ordered the contractors to ensure a speedy progress of the project and see that it gets to an advanced stage within the next 2 months. Meanwhile, the contractors have resumed work in the earnest, and Governor Adeleke is to visit the project site to inspect progress of the work next week. The governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has installed the former governor of the state, Prince Olagunsoye Oyinlola, as a charismatic leader whose approach to service inspires dedication to the people. The governor gave this description in a congratulatory message to Prince Olagunsoye as he turned 72. Governor Adeleke, who described the Okuku-born blue blood as an outstanding administrator, noting that Prince Oyinlola's incredible imprint in public service are indelible and a source of his wide appeal with the people. The governor lauded Prince Oyinlola for his enduring impact on the lives of the people in the military, and as a politician, saying the former governor is a shining example of impactful governance. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakub, has insisted the 2023 general election will hold as scheduled. While receiving the new Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Yusha Dogara Ahmed, at the commission, Professor Yakub said INEC has no plan to shift any of the elections slated for February 25 to March 11th. Reacting to media reports of the rumored planned extension of the election, the INEC boss did not give detail, but further assured the NYSC DG of the safety of corps members to mobilize for the poll and increase their allowances. And on sports, Anthony Joshua return to the ring is imminent as his coach, Matchroom Eden Hayes, expressed his interest in making the fight between former Ultimate Fighting champion, UFC undisputed heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. Ngannou is now a free agent in the world of combat sport after failing to extend his contract with the UFC, and he is expected to make a foray into the world of boxing. The 36-year-old boxer is already being linked with a number of boxing biggest names, including WBC World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury, and now Hayes is looking to make the deal for a fight with Joshua. And on the foreign scene, 7 people have been killed in South Sudan's Central Equatoria State in tit-for-tat violence between cattle herders and members of military on the eve of a visit to the country by Pope Francis. The Pope is said to arrive from the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, hoping to revive a peace process aimed at ending a decade of conflict fought mostly on ethnic lines that killed hundreds of thousands of people. A peace deal signed in 2018 by the main parties in a civil war from 2013 to 2018 has significantly reduced violence in South Sudan in recent years, but lower level crashes between rival communities regularly flip up. And that ends the evening news on Osbc TV. Join us at 7 for the major reports. Good evening.